Warning. The following may contain concepts, ideas, and/or reflections unique in nature and not yet approved by government and/or corporate entities. This content is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended to stimulate further reflection or to perpetuate additional discourse beyond the scope already outlined by institutional curriculum.
Welcome back, Bri.
Thanks, man. All right. We got a big one for you today. This one, we're talking geoengineering. So look up. Look way up. And I'll call Rusty. All right. So let's start with the what I would call just the mainstream
Narrative?
or backpedaling or whatever you want to call it. But okay, so we're just gonna go Wikipedia and the chemtrail conspiracy theory. The chemtrail conspiracy theory is the erroneous belief that long-lasting condensation trails left in the sky by high-flying aircraft are actually chemtrails consisting of chemical or biological agents sprayed for nefarious purposes, undisclosed to the general public. I do think the bias is quite clear by stating it's erroneous right out of the gate. So, okay, let's just move along here. Another one, this one from the BBC. Some think malign forces, it should be maligned, by the way. I just want to make that note. The BBC doesn't know how to spell correctly, but some think maligned forces are spraying the population with dangerous chemicals, so-called chemtrails, for purposes that are neither entirely clear nor consistent.
It kind of looks like the Olympics symbol.
Yeah. Not really biased at all. Basically, chemtrails are for morons and idiots. So let's just move along and go to, this is Wikipedia's simplified version of geoengineering. I've kind of scrolled down, but just as a recap, geoengineering is claimed to be mostly something that is to counter climate change, man-made climate change, or as they like to call it, anthropogenic
Global warming.
climate change. No, climate change. The most ambiguous and hard to decipher. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was thinking that anthropogenic is 5 syllables. Man-made is 2. So why someone would want to add more syllables and be less clear, well, I'll let you decide. But anyways, so we're going to go down to solar radiation modification. This is injecting a stratospheric aerosol into with small reflective particles to be introduced to the upper atmosphere to reflect sunlight. Now, keep in mind, this is not the conspiracy theory part. This is
the official.
This is what geoengineering is and why it's important. Other approaches include marine cloud brightening, which would increase the reflectivity of clouds over the oceans, or constructing a space sunshade or space mirror to reduce the amount of sunlight reaching the Earth. Well, that sounds pretty great. We'll create a balloon to blot out the sun. I think The Simpsons did that. Okay, so that's the official. Now, if you're getting the takeaway here, chemtrails do not exist, and geoengineering does not exist. They're not modifying the weather. So let's just look now to some other sources. Is there anything you would like to add before we continue?
It's just that, when you look at jet aircraft up in the sky, you got to keep on modifying that for me. And then you see trails, and in the course of minutes to hours, it spreads out And so that's not some kind of particulate matter in there that really does kind of like cloud up, makes the sun kind of hazy. And
well, they probably don't have the particulate to spray, right? They probably don't. They haven't been working on that technology.
yeah, they don't.
Right?
They don't know how to make colloidal aluminum.
Or silver, because silver's so cheap. You want to just spray it all over the planet. Okay, so let's get into it now. Now, keep in mind, I want you to hold this thought. Okay. Now, chemtrails, the entire concept is geoengineering as the fundamental principle. I'm probably correct in that. If you go down any conspiracy rabbit hole, I'm sure that the term geoengineering, that the purpose of chemtrails is to manipulate the weather. Would I be erroneous in making that claim?
No, that's what they officially say. If
So
or
contrary
solar radiation management is another
So
term.
contrary to what the BBC says, it's not that vague. Chemtrails are related to changing the cloud formations. That's the conspiracy theorists' main topic. So are they doing this? Well, let's go look at Wikipedia again and see cloud seeding in the United Arab Emirates. Cloud seeding in the United Arab Emirates is a weather modification technique used by the government to address water challenges in the country. Huh. Okay. Does that seem a little contradictory?
It does seem like that.
Because okay, let's move along to the other highlighted part of the article. Forecasters and scientists have estimated that cloud seeding operations can enhance rainfall as much as 30 to 35% in a clear atmosphere and up to 10 to 15% in a more humid atmosphere. That's actually wrong. We're going to prove that those numbers are way higher, actually, but whatever. I mean, this is Wikipedia, so you can't expect too much out of them. The practice has caused concern regarding the impact on environment because it's difficult to predict its long-term global implications. Really? Who thought of that? So you mean manipulating the weather on a global scale could have some consequences? I'm glad we got experts on this because I think a layman wouldn't be able to put two and two together. You'd be like, yeah, let's just let's blot out the sun. Hey, you think anything's going to happen if we blot out the sun, dude?
Well, no, I mean...
No, I don't... I can't see anything happening if we just blot it. Let's just explode the sun. Well, let's see what happens then. We'll probably be fine. I can't imagine anything untoward happening. Okay, so we're going to go... And this is the same article about the United Arab Emirates. So the history... Scientists have been experimenting with cloud seeding technology since the 1940s. Okay.
1940s.
I'm getting confused now because I thought they had just said that this was all a bunch of hogwash and that people that believed that they were modifying the weather were tinfoil hat and conspiracy theorists. I thought that's what they said, but now they're saying that this cloud seeding technology is something that they've been working on for quite a while, and they're doing it.
Right.
They're manipulating the weather. So the very thing that they said they're not doing, it seems like it's the very thing they're doing. But maybe we're missing something.
Does this come from official sources?
Well, it's coming from Wikipedia. They said one thing out of the side of their mouth, and now they're saying another.
Right.
Now, let's keep in mind, the United Arab Emirates is in a desert, if you don't know. And the reason for cloud seeding would be to up the amount of precipitation. Now, the science is saying that it's effective, and they're using it to create rain, and they're quite happy with their results. Now, at the same time, they're also telling us that in April 2024, when there was some floods in Dubai, experts are doubtful that cloud seeding played a role in the United Arab Emirates, April 2024 floods, suggesting that heavy rainfall was more likely caused by anthropogenic climate change.
Yeah, cloud seeding.
Yeah, cloud seeding.
See, it's kind of
It's cyclical.
the truth is buried in their sort of like obfuscation.
Their words,
Yeah.
their wordplay. It's exactly what George Orwell actually warned about. Is you replace common words, common phrases that are very easy to understand. Man-made. Do you understand
Right.
what man-made means?
Right.
How many people on the street know what anthropogenic? I can barely say it.
Anthropogenic global warming. I think what it really is trying to say is that the 8 billion people on the planet, collectively, them respiring, in and out breathing, the carbon dioxide is the biggest contributor to global warming.
Okay, now we
or
go back.
weather changing events.
We go back to our trusted BBC once again, and their take on it. Dubai has been hit by record floods over the past 24 hours, sparking misleading speculation about cloud seeding. Okay. Again, they seem to be really digging in deep. We modify the weather, but when anything wrong happens, we're not.
But is anybody going to challenge the BBC's take on this story?
Well, there's us. Okay, so then let's go to this is I know we're gonna bounce around a little bit, but it's relating to floods. So let's go to this is the Texas government. So a real conspiracy rabbit hole I think we're going down, right? Whenever you start dredging up government websites, you're really clutching at straws, I would say. All right, so many countries and several Western states have had cloud seeding operations for decades. Decades, okay. The history of Texans using cloud seedings to lessen the impact of periodic, often severe droughts is lengthy and fascinating. Well, I'm fascinated. Numerous cloud-making efforts sprouted from the epic drought of the 1950s. Well, that's many decades then, going back to the 1950s. And some continued into the 1960s, giving impetus to the Texas legislature to adopt a law in 1967 governing the use of weather modification technologies. In ensuing years, both the state and federal governments provided funds for both cloud seeding research and assessing the impact of commercial weather modification projects. Well, doesn't sound like it's something they don't do, because they created a law to govern its implementation.
And who says when enough rain is enough?
Well, I don't know. Let's see. Has Texas ever had too much rain at any point?
I think in recent memory, I remember there being some major floods in that great state of Texas.
AP investigation shows chaos of deadly Texas floods through emergency recordings and videos. Well, looks like there's some pretty big carnage there. That looks like a fair bit of rain they got. Huh. I wonder if anyone would want to lay claim to that. I think it's probably an act of God in this case.
I'm just wondering, when an area like that gets a whole lot of rain, is it possible that another area is not getting the rain that it would naturally get?
Right. Also, let's just see, because hey, maybe this is just an isolated, maybe there's just a handful of countries and states that are doing it. Let's just see. Another desert nation, Qatar. Let's just see if Qatar is doing anything. So this is this site. I don't know if I really want to try to pronounce their name. Bayanat. Was that good? So
I know a lot of guys named that.
So this site is these people. I'm not going to show it on screen, but on their website they have basically they do meteorological technologies for the Qatari government. They do radar systems for the military, like their
Communication
and basically
systems.
almost all the infrastructure at the airports, the international airports there. So this is what they have to say. No, it isn't any esoteric or tribal practice. Interesting. I thought the BBC was telling us that chemtrails was a crackpot theory. Okay, well, not according to the Qataris. Cloud seeding is a way to modify the amount of precipitation by dispersing specific substances into the air that alter the cloud formation processes. That seems fairly clear. It's weird because at the start it seemed like it was going to be filled with ambiguity, but this seems like it's pretty definitive. This technology's around.
Sounds pretty cloudy to me.
It's been around for a while, and they're implementing it wherever they want to elicit.
I think it's wherever
precipitation.
wealthy people want, a decent amount of rain to fill up their swimming pools.
Right.
I'm just wondering if that affects that little country somewhat south of them, primarily Iran. I'm not sure geographically where they're located.
Well,
But,
I think we'll save
that'd be
that.
a question whether Iran is or Iran is experiencing drought.
We'll save that for, I think, a part 2, because the consequences of these programs is probably going to be a big block of to discuss. So we'll do that probably tomorrow in a part 2.
Incidentally, since we're living here in Nicaragua, I know that last year at this time there was a lot more storms because we're in the rainy season right now, and we have really seen scant amount of storms. And we do see a lot of chemtrailing down here.
Are you trying to infer, dude, that manipulating global weather patterns could manipulate the global weather pattern?
Yeah, I would say on a large scale. That's a hunch anyways,
Wow.
that it would not be isolated and regional, but it would have global impact.
Yeah. You sound like a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, well, and I'll also say, since we've been living here, that I think I counted 2 clear crystal blue skies in the over 1 year that we've been here.
But you know what you can't really see even on a clear day is very many stars at night.
No,
It kind of seems like a miracle how the old mariners used to just navigate just off of the 3 stars that you see in the night sky.
Well, since we left Connecticut in the sailboat, I think the only time I've really seen a beautiful blue starry sky was sailing from Jamaica to Central America.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's
And even in that,
very dim.
I do not remember them being anywhere even remotely close to when I was a kid in Alberta. And when we would have a clear night sky in Alberta, it would be like, not only would you see all the constellations, but there you would see literally the millions of fainter stars in the night sky. I guess maybe I implanted that information into my head by some sort of clandestine means. I don't know.
Primordially, your ancestors viewed that, and so primordially you remember that deep inside.
Yeah, it's not a real memory. So, okay. Now, maybe people are saying government websites and Wikipedia are really bad sources to use. And so, in that case, I guess we'll go to a scientific journal, probably another crap source to use.
Could that be?
We could be using the BBC right now to be proving our point. Damn it. Okay, well, let's look at this. It's an abstract from ScienceDirect.com. This is another desert country called Saudi Arabia. You may have heard of it. Big oil.
Oil-rich Saudi Arabia.
Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to do too well on these names either, but this study evaluates the impact of cloud seeding operations conducted on August 4th, 2022 in southern Saudi Arabia. assessing precipitation changes over 5 to 6 months in 3 cities: Al-Makhawah,
Don't-
Al-Baha,
Yeah,
and
just say that
Hey,
you're-
I'm on a roll. And
yeah.
Al-Makhdah. And a
They
comparison.
help you clear your throat.
A comparison of, I'm sure someone could correct us with our legions of Saudi Arabian fans. A comparison of rainfall amounts before and after cloud seeding indicates substantial increases in monthly rainfall. Okay, so the 3 cities that I already said, I'm not going to say them again. But in the first one, there was a 253% increase in rainfall. Then there was a 550% increase in rainfall. And in the other location, a 287% increase in rainfall over a 5 to 6 month period, which is a pretty good block of time. So this is from ScienceDirect.com. It's a scientific paper. Let's just go back, because there's the one that from Wikipedia that said that cloud seeding operations can enhance rainfall as much as 30 to 35% in a clear atmosphere. Well, according to the scientific journal, it's way higher than that. So it's way more effective. So on a blurb that is not really held to any sort of scientific standard, they say 30 to 35%. But in an actual scientific abstract, it's over 200%. But in the one case, it was 550% increase in rainfall. That sounds pretty damn effective to me.
It sure does, Brian.
Well, thank you.
I'm just kind of curious. What we can look at sometime is getting like these desert countries that aren't so oil rich. I mean, it just doesn't seem like there is one that isn't. But I thought it was kind of weird a few years ago that Libya had a hurricane. I've never heard of a hurricane in that part of the world before.
Well, yeah. I
But
mean,
that's
there's-
into another
there's like
component
a-
of maybe being able to control wind.
And interestingly enough, there's a huge stack of all these anomalies always go back to anthropogenic climate change. Never
Right.
going back to any programs of direct intentional manipulation of the weather, which clearly they're doing. So let's just consult another source. This is the United States Government Accountability Office. So it's a branch of the government. On their website, they say demand for water is increasing as U.S. droughts are expected to get more frequent and intense. Cloud seeding is an 80-year-old technology that adds tiny particles, usually silver iodine crystals, to clouds to trigger rain or snow. So they've been doing this for 80 years. This is the admission from the United States Government Accountability Office. Is there a question? Are there still people out there that don't think they're manipulating the weather?
Well, if they are, they're people that don't want to think about or consider the possibility.
Now, admittedly, when I was younger, we had many heated arguments about this, and I was
Highly skeptical.
well, and as I recall, this was probably about 8 to maybe 9 years ago, and I remember being adamant that we should just call whatever comes out of a jet just jet pollution, and maybe it's affecting the weather as a side effect. So admittedly, I was in that camp of being like, this seems too preposterous or too large scale to be something that the government is legitimately considering and implementing. Obviously, I was wrong, and he kept fighting tooth and nail for me to see that.
Well, it really seemed to be things really seemed to have changed in 2012 up in Canada. That's when I really noticed them going full throttle with the whole chemtrail thing. That pretty much every jet seemed to be laying down lines that seemed to, really build up into clouds. There was a little bit before that, but I think it really took off in 2012, and it just kept on accelerating.
Yeah.
And considering that there was so much, or at least there was, pretty much every jet going up through Alaska will go through Canadian airspace. Every U.S. airport flying to Europe will once again use Canadian airspace. And so there's a lot of traffic.
Well, and I think we'll
have to
break off for the and because I think
continue
this
tomorrow.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure this is probably run long enough,
Yeah.
and then we'll do a part 2, which is basically the consequences of all these things. And spoiler alert, you're not going to be getting good data for to make a case for climate change if you're actively manipulating the weather. It's going to be pretty hard to say we've seen that carbon dioxide is having an effect on our planet's weather while simultaneously manipulating the weather intentionally.
Right.
And so if you're not willing to admit that you're having weather manipulation programs that are being implemented around the globe right now, how the hell are you getting accurate data when you're trying to make a case for anthropogenic climate change? And I think from that point we can leave it there.
Yeah, and we'll talk tomorrow about those other things that you've investigated.
Yeah.
Like microwaves being directed to the Earth with the global satellite positioning systems that they have, and also surprisingly the setting up of nuclear plants in the oceans just off the coast of various locales.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a lot more to go into. I think especially the speculation of what's the consequences of this is going to be laid on a lot thicker in the next video. So until then, we're signing off. Have a good day.